Hello, welcome to another plan with me, and actually today we're going to be doing a monthly spread, which obviously only happens very rarely, or basically 12 times a year. Anyways, so for today we're going to be tackling March. I literally cannot believe we are in another month of this year. How freaking fast is it going? Anyways, I also have my post-its just because I do work 12-hour shifts 3 times a week, so I definitely want to be able to know when I'm actually in work. So I'm also going to be using these same stickers. Yes, it is the same stickers that I used for the last weekly spread, but I kind of have a new idea for them, so I definitely want to do that. I'm gonna mix and match these two from a new what is it called, washi tape thing that I got, and I'm so excited. I'm gonna be using my brand new acrylic markers that I got from Archer and Olive. It is the first time that I've ever purchased from them, and I had been waiting so long to get these markers, and I finally did. I love how they look. Plus, it's awesome that they give us extra tips for these things because yes, it's acrylic, sometimes they just bleed a lot. But anyways, I'm gonna be using that, which again, super excited. But first things first, let's white out some of these sections. I do utilize my monthly sections a little bit differently, so I definitely want to make sure that I utilize this space to my advantage as much as I can. So I'm just gonna go ahead, white out some sections really quick. So the first thing I'm actually going to be doing is adding in some washi tape, just because I do want to incorporate some of these prints and patterns that these tapes have. Because I do utilize all of these border sections, for example, this bottom right section, the bottom left section, and then the total left section, which I whited out. I want to be able to utilize that space to my advantage for the different categories that I add into my month, which, for example, my categories are new clients, my monthly goals, when are things happening, current clients, current goal, literally all different types. Of course, I'm just going to be doing the basics here. I will be filling out, let's say, titles after I finish filming here, just because I do want to keep some things private, and it's just part of my business, so I definitely will have that later on once I get into those more details. But what I'm doing here is actually kind of doing a border for my pages, so it definitely helps it a little bit. Who knows if this next week's spread I'm gonna want this tape, but I'll deal with it later, let's put it that way. But it just looks so much more crisper when I do fold it over into the next page instead of just trying to align it, because I already know that sometimes these washi tapes like to unstick themselves, so I definitely want to make sure that I have it where it's more crisper rather than the other way around. So anyways, let me just finish up adding some more tape before getting into the actual plans. So kind of like I mentioned before, this other section here is where I'm going to be adding different categories. For example, new clients, current clients, things like that that I need to take note of. Yes, I do have my own online let's say tracking system as well, but I do like having them in here also, just because it does make it more cohesive and make sure that I actually know what's going on. Let's put it that way. So I'm going to be using this little section here to write down some of my goals, and then these bigger stickers I'm actually going to be using for other categories. So let me just go ahead and finish up adding some stickers. So one thing I'm actually going to be doing, instead of making those bar kind of things that I had been doing in the previous 2 months, I'm actually going to change it up and make it into little circles. So obviously I do color coordinate even in my weekly spreads, so I already know what the colors correspond to, so it makes it a little bit easier. So I look at the dot, obviously I'm gonna write on top of it, but it just makes it visually more appealing, I guess, or easier to see, and it just goes with the flow of this more floral slash nature looking idea that I'm kind of going with in my head, if that makes sense. So definitely switching it up this month to see how this feels. Obviously, it's just like every other week. Experimenting is literally the way to go, because you'll never know if something works or doesn't work if you don't give it a try. So this will be the first time I'm actually doing it in this form. So we shall see how I feel about it later on. But anyways, so I'm just going ahead and writing down the actual what it means. So obviously, again, I know what the colors mean, but I definitely want to add a little bit more and actually write down what exactly it is. So let me just go ahead and finish this up. fun part. So this is what I've been waiting for maybe too long. I'm gonna start using these, and I'm actually going to use them as design. So one of the biggest things that they recommend is obviously letting the layers dry between adding a different color or a different, you know, marker or whatever it is, just because they do take a little bit more to dry. So definitely making sure that that happens. So I'm just gonna go ahead. I kind of have done this in my, let's say, when was it? Last year's planner. I had done sort of like a design like this, but obviously I was just using my mild liners instead of these acrylic markers. So we're gonna see how it turns out. Who knows? Again, experimenting every single time. So let me just go ahead. I'm adding in these little blobs, and then I'm gonna add some florals onto it with a different marker. Not exactly theirs, because I do want a black one, and this set does not come with black, which is kind of sad, but it's okay, we'll still live. So I'm just gonna go ahead and add this in, and then add the little design right on top once they're dry. month. Of course, this is a shorty video just because I add way more details into my weekly spreads, and of course I'm going to be filling out a lot more once I'm done filming here and doing all this editing. So hopefully this was helpful, inspiring, and hopefully you like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you here for another video very soon. Okay, bye.